Yes, now our Barrington High School student chapter, USA chapter president Caleb Kaplan and Vice President Braden Ryan. Welcome, guys.
Hi, thank you.
All right, let's start with you, Braden. Why did you decide to launch that? Was there something about that teacher's rant that got you motivated?
Yes. For me, what he said that motivated me the most was saying that he was a garbage person, because all he was really doing was spreading his beliefs and political views on people who chose to go to him.
So, yeah, and then you decide to take action while the administration decides if he should be fired or not. Caleb, to you, what do you expect to accomplish when you get the green light, and we hope it's going to be eventually, to start this chapter? What do you hope to accomplish in doing this?
Yeah, so we hope to set up a safe space where conservatives and liberals can come together and talk about their beliefs openly, freely, just exercising our First Amendment right, just like Charlie was unfortunately unable to do following his assassination.
Okay, so this right here is exactly what I've seen, it's a few content creators and a few commentators, a few, analysts, people who reacted when Charlie Kirk was unfortunately, murdered on a college campus there in Utah. These, this is what happens. Not saying it's good, not saying it's bad, but when things like that happen, it motivates the youth to mobilize. And I commend these two young males for these two young men for they see a cause that they believe in. They want to create a safe space, as they were saying, for conservatives and liberals, to express themselves as Charlie Kirk would. And Charlie Kirk, was definitely a martyr. These kids, as you see, that they are influenced and inspired by the work that Charlie Kirk was doing. So now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a chapter within Turning Point USA, for them, and they were, motivated. It looks like a teacher had a viral moment to where he was calling Charlie Kirk garbage and stuff like that. And I know people, everyone has an opinion. Everyone wants to give their opinion, and everyone's able to give their opinion. But you do have to understand that even when you give your opinion, the same as I'm doing right now, there's going to be reactions, there's going to be consequences to those opinions. And everyone's not going to have your same point of view. Everyone's not going to believe the same things that you believe. Everyone was not raised the same way that you was. Me, I'm the type of person that I don't care about people having their own opinions. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a asshole. Pretty much. So they always gave the analogy that opinions are like assholes. So, you're allowed to have your opinion. That's not going to affect me in any way, because I'm not emotionally attached to other people's opinions like that. And I feel like, that's a way that I keep myself from, having emotional reactions to certain things and just lashing down to people or being argumentative and keep going back and forth, because I understand, man. As long as you have a brain, as long as you have a mouth, as long as you're able to think, as long as you're able to talk, you can have your own opinion. And you should not be trying to force your opinion or, really force your thoughts on anyone. You can give them and just, go on about your business. Because at the end of the day, even when you do all that, some people are still going to be on the left side and some people going to still be on the right side. Some people are going to agree, some people are going to disagree. And that's just how it is. That's just how it's going to be. But these young kids, and both of them could grow up to be the next Charlie Kirks. and create their own movement outside of Turning Point USA. And this is the results of when you do stuff like that. And this is the start. This is just one. um but what I'm gonna do here, as I had to make a little edit there, I'm gonna continue the video, and let's see what these individuals have to say here. Let's see what these two young men have to say.
And adding on to what he said about motivations, yeah, what he said about a dead man, whether you like him or not, that's nasty to say to somebody or about somebody that was politically assassinated.
Yeah, someone like you, more mature than the teacher who's supposed to be teaching you this stuff. Braden, has the Turning Point USA, now that you're interested in doing this, tell me the process you went through to let them know you wanted to start a chapter, and have they been receptive to it?
Well, what we had to do was first we had to go to our school athletic director, and at first he kind of sounded like he was pushing us towards other clubs.
He didn't want to help you.
Not really. It didn't seem like it.
So you're pushing back against that teacher sentiment. He probably knows his teacher, and then you're going to start the club anyway. So what did that teacher's comments do to the school and the discourse and conversation that the...
So as you were hearing, they went to the athletic director, and the athletic director was trying to point them in a different direction and trying to suggest like other clubs that's probably already established, but they want to do their own thing. They don't want to go into it already established. So that's the thing. It's sometimes, when, like I said, even if you don't agree, sometimes you really have to just still support the youth and still support what they want to do, because even with that deterrence, even with that door closing, or even with you seem like you don't want to help, they're gonna find a way to get it done, and they're gonna use you not wanting to help as even more of a motivation to want to get it done. This young man feels like Charlie Kirk was politically assassinated, which a lot of people do, and like they were saying, even if you don't like his views, even if you don't agree, you still don't say nasty things, about him. And, that may be a politically correct type of answer or response, or, too nice or whatever you want to say about it. But, I mean, that's how he feels. And, you know, I've seen so many viral videos, especially after the fact of Charlie Kirk's passing, that really disgusted me to see people react like that and say stuff like that, you know, because I really wasn't too versed on Charlie Kirk until really after his passing. And some of the stuff he did say was obvious, but still, even with stuff that he's saying being obvious within our community, we still haven't taken any type of steps to prevent it, or any steps to try to um try to change the narrative. The narrative's still going very, very strong within the community, because a lot of people in our community, they don't want to change. They don't care to hear how they can change. You really can't tell most of the people in our community anything. You know, um, I used to try to take on that art, and try to because I mean I have good common sense. I used to try to tell people this, tell people that, and people tell me, well, that maybe that's for you, but that's not for me. This not, I've heard that so many times, or that's stupid, and that you've been whitewashed and all kind of stuff. So it's just like, man, if you only knew, like I come from the fucking dirt. I literally come from the dirt. I come from the dirt. My parents wasn't in the home with me every day, and I was raised by my single grandmother, and everything I have learned and the man that I've become today is from trials, tribulations, hard work, and just, the will to want to do better for myself. I literally come from nothing. You know, we was definitely on food stamps coming up. I still have several of my immediate family that are still, on some type of government assistance. So, you know, I'm no different than anyone else that will be in our community. I have friends that are in the grave. I have friends that are locked up in jail. You know, um, so whatever situation or whatever you want to say, whatever environment, whatever. Like I went through these type of things, so I'm only speaking from my anecdotal experience. Um, and the things I grew up around, the things I've seen, and I can say that a lot of people in our community do not want to change. They do not care about doing better. They do not care about group economics. They don't care about being a part of capitalism. A lot of people in our community literally, they have their hands out. They never want to change, and they keep passing those type of things and mentalities. Keep passing them on down to generations and generations and generations. And it's very unfortunate, because I feel like we are a community and we are a people who should be thriving more than what we are. There are several people within our community that's thriving, but then there's also millions and millions of more who are not thriving, who don't care to thrive, who don't care to be a great example for their kids, who really just don't care at all about anything like that. And that's very, very sad. I'm gonna let this video continue, close this out, and see what else they have to say here.
Students are now having. Why don't you answer that one, Caleb?
Sure. A lot of people have been campaigning, even following our speech, to get Mr. Philo reinstated as a teacher there. And besides that, it's been relatively positive. There has been some pushback from students and other faculty, and it's been mentioned by guidance counselors to us, not in a negative way, but there have been some levels of pushback.
Yeah. It sounds like your teachers' faculty is not supporting it, but you guys got to bulldoze through it. That's part of the message of Turning Point. You expect the resistance, but what you want to do is start a dialogue. You don't want to jam at your thoughts to anyone's heads. You want to open up the conversation. I think it's fantastic. Meanwhile, Barrington Public School statement said this: Barrington High School students are always welcome and encouraged to pursue new clubs that reflect their interests. As with all proposed student organizations, there's a process outlined in our student activities protocol. The group of students expressing interest in forming a student Turning Point USA chapter has been provided that information. This is one of about a dozen new proposed student clubs currently moving through the same process. Maybe you got to move past the athletic director if he's giving you a hard time. And if he does give you a hard time, please let us know, okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course, they want to definitely get the news scoop first. So, but yeah, man. Kudos to these two young males, man. They want to you know, be trailblazers. They want to, create their own chapter, and like I said, I wasn't thinking this way at their age, so you know, they definitely should have bright futures ahead of them. They look like regular, young young adults, and they look like they really want to inspire change, and keep people's minds open, like they say, create a dialogue. And again, not everyone's going to agree, but this is just my perspective, and good luck to them. Hopefully they're able to get their chapter, up and going, and they're able to get out and really use it, for a positive and not a negative, and hopefully, they're able to achieve their goals. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up because it's kind of gone longer than I really, really wanted it to. But if you do like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, this is Justin Paul. Peace.